where it said council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors that a total of 72,775 was retained for central procurement of an ambulance, full stop. So we delete and motorbike for the chief retainer.
Mr. Obliged.
The same page on action taken, we do the same, where it said the retained funds were used to procure the ambulance. We cross and motorbike. We cross and motorbike.
Yes, it's now.
We go to page 6.
Page 6.
Page 6, Chair, where it says action taken on sentence number 1, the funds have since been. We just replace has to have. It's a plural because they are funds. Then funds have. And on remedial measure, where it says council will carefully discipline, it should read council will discipline. We council carefully discipline. Council will discipline. And then the last way.
They amend the word discipline as amended earlier.
Yes, maybe as amended earlier with the right correct spelling.
Yes.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah.
And the last word there where it say, which says project are offered, deliver quality product are offered contracts. Contracts, not offered contractors. Offered contracts. So we cancel the word contractor, just put we just put contracts, not contractor. Page 7, Chair, page 7 on cause of query. There is one word missing on the last sentence. Last sentence on cause of query, which should read no boarding secondary school. But here it was said no boarding school. We insert the word secondary. No boarding secondary. And on the major measure, on the major measure, Chair.
Page 7, come again with the correction on page 7.
Page 7, we insert the word secondary on the last sentence on cause of query, which reads driven, which means and the district has no boarding. It says there's no boarding school. So now we want to insert the word secondary.
Secondary.
No boarding secondary school. On the major measure, Chair, on the council had, it should read council has signed, has, instead of had. On page 8, there is a typo on cause of query, sentence number 3. Cause of query, sentence number 3, on staff house. We just put a U on where it says staff house. It was a typo. We put staff house, put a U.
Staff house construction.
Yes. Now the way it was written, it was staff house. Now we can just put a U so it makes a house, staff house.
Okay, mine is corrected.
Okay.
Yeah, it's correct.
Then on page 8. Page 8. I was at page 8, Chair. Maybe I proceed to page 10.
Go ahead.
Page 10 on work in progress 2024 number 3.
Yes.
It must read construction of a 1x3 classroom block at VUBWI Day Secondary School.
Not the water scheme.
No. It's a construction of a 1x3 classroom block at VUBWI Day Secondary School. That's what the project. And then when you go on the same, when you go to action taken, it must read, because the water scheme is part of the project, it must read 1x3 classroom block, comma, ablution block, comma,
Come again. Where are you making that
on
amendment?
action taken, the same number 3.
Action taken.
Action taken, it must read one by water scheme installed,
Yes.
and the 1 by 3 classroom block and ablution block completed.
So we delete staff house connected,
Yeah, it's true.
completed, and operation.
We did that part because this was not, there was no staff house involved. It was just an error of a computer.
So what is the new correction? Water scheme installed,
And
and
maybe we can say water scheme installed, comma,
yes.
1 by 3 classroom block, comma, and ablution block. And ablution block completed.
So this project is complete.
Yes. Then I take you to the last part for correction on page 12.
Page 12.
Page 12 on cause of query. Last sentence. Last sentence, which says 94% utilization rate, leaving a balance of 5 desks. Now, instead of saying 5 desks with 155, it's 5 desks with 155. Then last on action taken, which says 5 desks have been procured in 2025. Then where I say with 98, it's within the 98. Within the 98.
Within the 98 desks.
Okay. Then, Chair, I'll take you to the page 26, which is the last adjustment. Page 26 on the appendix. On the completion certificate, it should read, we should cancel 1,003,308. It must be 1,250,000. 1,250,000. 250,000 kwacha, right?
So for this one, do you have the original document? Because these are figures that you signed.
The originals?
The original certificate of completion.
Did we carry the original? Chair.
In this certificate, which is duly signed by the engineers and the contractor, yes, you are amending that the figure is it should be 1,250,000. But according to the document you've given us here, which is duly signed, it has 1.3 million kwacha. So I want to agree that you are changing this. Do you have the original completion certificate, which has got this figure?
No, unfortunately, Chair, I've been guided by Director Engineering that we didn't carry the original. So we can be guided on that part.
No problem. You've taken note, Dr. Maza.
Sure. So that ends my correction, Chair.
Please go ahead and make your submission.
Thank you. Chair, thank you very much. I'll start by addressing the 2 queries on the preliminary queries. The query number 1 is delayed completion of the staff house at Adiodio Primary School. And query number 2, they are connected, is delayed construction of another staff house at Nyakoma Rural Center. Management response, Chair. Council is in agreement with the findings of the auditors that the 2 stated projects were not fully completed in the year under review due to various factors stated in Table 1 below. So Table 1 below, Chair, is on page 3, which clearly states the cause of query, that the cause of query for project number 1 for delayed completion of staff house at Adiodio. The construction of staff house at Adiodio delayed due to low capacity of the contractor to deliver the project on time, resulting in the contract expiry. The action taken, Chair, is that the non-renewal of the expired contract. So we didn't renew this contract, And then the new contractor was procured and completed the works. The house, Chair, is completed and occupied. On project number 2, delayed construction of staff house at Nyakoma Rural Health Center. The cause of query, the delayment of the completion of staff house at Nyakoma Health Center was due to poor soil formation with low water table, resulting in the drilling of 3 failed boreholes. The action taken upgraded the existing community borehole with installation of water scheme connected to the staff house, and the staff house, Chair, is being handed over and is occupied. The major measure, the council shall continue disciplining non-performing contractors by not renewing their contracts, and we will re-advertise to attract serious and committed contractors to support government deliver quality projects on time.
Support the government to deliver. No, it's okay.
Thank you,
Minor typo error.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
So that ends my preliminary queries. Now I go to cross-cutting. Cross-cutting, Chair, I'll take you to Appendix 1, which is budget and funding. And Chair, on budget and funding, we are addressing the issue of retained funds and also the variance, which is 6 million. Management response, cause of the query, Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that a total of 24,621,291 was received, representing 80.4% disbursement rate, resulting in unreceived funds amounting to 6,014,351. Action taken, the Constituent Development Fund Committee and government approved funds under 2025 to cater for the carried forward projects affected by the partial disbursement. Remedial measure, Council has recorded an increase in the disbursement from 80.4% in 2024 to 92% in 2025, and will continue with a timely demand-driven requests. Appendix 1.1 on retained funds, which were also captured in the first table that I alluded to earlier. There is an ambulance and the amount of 2,275,000 kwacha. Cause of query, Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors that a total of 2,775,000 kwacha was retained for the central procurement of the ambulance. Action taken, the retained funds were used to procure the ambulance, which was collected, handed over, and operational as we speak. Remedial measure, the Council shall continue working in cooperation and collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Appendix 2.1, total unspent funds under community projects. 1%, Chair, representing 292,969 kwacha. Cause of query, the Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that funds amounting to 19,872,452 was spent out from 20,165,419,000 total funds available, representing 99% with expenditure, with a balance of 292,967 representing 1% unspent funds, which were committed for the completion of the staff house at Adiodio Primary School and the Nyakoma Water Reticulation Project. Action taken, the funds have since been exhausted as staff house at Adiodio Primary School and Nyakoma Health Center are all completed, handed over, and occupied. Remedial measure, the Council will...
You can go to the next one. This one is execution.
Thank you, Chair. The next one, Chair, is the 2.2, which is unspent funds on grants. Chair, as you can see on the table, we unspent funds is 0%, meaning that we spent 100% expenditure on this one. That's why, Chair, we are saying the Council shall endeavor to continue facilitating timely approvals and spending funds to achieve efficiency and the effectiveness of project delivery. Chair, I take you to 2.3 and spend funds on secondary boarding and skill development, which is 253,610 kwacha, representing 8%. Chair, cause of the query, the council would like to acknowledge the observation of the auditors that the council spent 100%, Chair, on received amount of 3,067,790, and however did not spend the carried over funds amounting to 253,610 kwacha due to limited youth response, as it is demand driven and the district has no body for secondary school and skills development training center. Action taken, the council conducted community sensitization meetings through the community radio, WDC meetings, government through Ministry of Education is constructing a secondary boarding school which is at 80% status, and the funds queried as exhausted in 2025. Remedial measures, the council has signed an MOU with Kwatu Radio, community radio station, aired every Friday to sensitize community on the availability of bursaries for the secondary boarding and skills development. And further, the construction of VUBWI secondary school has advanced, currently at 80% for future sustainable solution. 2.4, Chair, and spend funds on loans, which is 498 kwacha 148, representing 11%. Cause of query, the council would like to acknowledge the finding of the auditors and would like to state that the council spent 89% of the budgeted component. However, a total of 148 kwacha was unspent due to failure by 2 loan applicants to pass the eligibility criteria, hence delayed implementation. This, Chair, is from the bank criteria for screening. Action taken, the two new applicants were selected, approved by CDFC, recommended by the bank, and then approved by a provincial government officer. Number 2, Chair, funds have been paid to the new beneficiaries, recommended by the bank and approved by the POGO. Remedial measure, the council shall continue to sensitize the communities on the requirement criteria for loan applicants to increase compliance rates. 2.5, Chair, and spend funds on administration. Chair, we didn't spend 141,853, representing 9% on administrative cost. Cause of query, the council would like to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to inform the committee that a total of unspent funds of 143,853 kwacha were committed funds for the monitoring and supervision of projects that were carried forward for Adiodio, Staff House, and Staff House construction at Nyakoma, etc., etc. So, Chair, we had projects which was carried forward, and we had spared some money for continued supervision to ensure that projects are done accordingly. Remedial measure, Council will endeavor to adhere to prudent management of public resources, aiming at achieving quality and project products. Chair, Appendix 3 is community projects. We'll go to the next table, Chair, which is actually providing the explanation to the query. Chair, there were 3 projects that were in progress at the time we were audited, and 1 outstanding project. So, Chair, I will quickly take you to the table.
Go to number 3.
Number 3.
You have dealt with 1 and 2 already.
Yes. So, number 3, Chair, the construction of 1x3 classroom block at VUBWI Day Secondary School. A cause of query, inadequate technical capacity of contractor to deliver projects on time. Action taken, water scheme installed, 1x3 classroom block and ablution block completed, Chair, and the same is being utilized right now. They are operational. Outstanding project, Chair, the construction of water scheme at Impero Primary School. Because of query, low water table resulted in dry boreholes. Chair, action taken, site was relocated to Songea Health Post. The water mechanized system for piped water has since been constructed and is operational. So, Chair, the cause of query, just explaining the status above. If you maybe can allow me, we can go to the next one.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Chair, we go to Appendix 3.1, the analysis of performance for desks. Chair, we planned to have 1,532 desks and a total of 1,527 desks were delivered, with 5 undelivered desks worth 155,500. Cause of query, the Council is in agreement with the findings of auditors that a total of 1,532 desks were targeted and 1,527 desks were procured and distributed, representing a performance rate of 99.7%. And a total or sum of 2,604,400 was allocated, with a total of 2,448,900 spent, representing 94% utilization rate, leaving a balance of 5 desks worth 155,500 at the end of the year. Action taken. The 5 desks have been procured in 2025 within the 98 desks that have been delivered. Remedial measures. Council will endeavor to engage reliable and experienced suppliers and contractors to ensure quality and timely delivery of desks. Chair, we go to Appendix 6, which is a Youth and Women Empowerment Grant, the performance analysis. Chair, all management response, all the 58 successful applicants had their funds been disbursed, representing 100%, and we will continue disbursements to all approved applicants within, while more allocation is needed to meet our demands, which resulted in 41% selection. The high application rate is due to intensified community sensitization. On 7.2, failure to recover loans. Chair, we have got management response. Code of the query. The Council wishes to acknowledge the finding of the auditors that a total of 761,526 had not been paid back by the loan beneficiaries. Action taken. The Council, together with management of Indobank Zambia Chipata branch, conducted an engagement meeting with loan beneficiaries to facilitate the recovery of loans pursuant to Section 4 of the Treasury and Financial Management Circular number 15 of 2022 of the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, which states that under Section 47 that financial institutions are supposed to undertake loan recoveries based on agreed repayment schedule. However, the Council engaged both the bank and the loan beneficiaries several times through monitoring, but the response is still poor. Remedial measure. The Council will ensure that beneficiaries adhere to terms and conditions stipulated in the loan agreement form. Appendix 8, bursary performance analysis, management response. The Council shall continue with the sensitization program for the youths to ensure skills for the self-employment and local economic entrepreneurship development. Chair, the page is empty, and that marks my end of the presentation. Chair, I thank you. I end here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Adiodio Primary School. Adiodio. Interesting names from the East. Thank you so much, CS, for that good presentation of your memorandum. I now wish to invite points of clarifications from the honorable members of the committee Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. I may take the committee to page 3.
Page 3.
So page 3 has specific issues queried on the primary school at Diodio, the delayed completion of a staff house. We are told this staff house has now been completed. The first contractor, the contract was terminated, and a new contractor appointed. The completion certificate is on Appendix 3, that the project is completed. The points of clarification: the first contractor, Chambre Enterprises Limited, was paid by, when a physical inspection carried out in July 2025, the contractor was paid 447,912, representing 57% of the contract sum. And the contract was terminated. And another contractor in the name of, was appointed, which is on Appendix 3. What was the cost of terminating the contract with the first contractor? The final closure, settlement of the account. The second question on the same is, you've given a picture, I think it was taken by the auditors, on page 2 of the staff house. Everyone can see that the walls are erected and it is painted. And these are the outstanding works that were described on page 2. The outstanding works included plumbing, glazing, electrical installations, water reticulation system, and the tiling. But when you go to Appendix 3, the new contractor, whose certificate of completion is attached on page 78. The contract start date was the 5th June 2025, and the date of completion 26th August 2025. The contract value was 349,378 kwacha. The contractor was Iwelo Zulu General Dealers. This contractor, the scope of works on the same completion certificate is superstructure, carpentry, joinery, ironmongery, metalwork, plumbing installations, and so on and so forth. Who did the superstructure between Chambre Enterprise and Iwelo Zulu General Dealers? And the contract price for Iwelo Zulu is the 349,378. When you reconcile, you balance the two contracts, the terminated one, based on your answer for the final contract settlement price, there is an overrun, budget overrun of about 12,510. Where did you get the additional funds? Thank you.
That is 3 loaded questions. Can the CS answer? Then I'll come back for some more questions. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Doctor, for the very good analysis. Maybe to start, since there's some clarification to be made, allow me to start doing, first of all, clarifying the termination of the contract. Chair, the contract was not terminated. From our presentation, it's clearly stated that the contract expired. The first contract ended the contract cycle, but the works were not completed. And because of the poor workmanship that was exhibited, the CDFC sat, the procurement committee sat to consider the possibility of extension of the contract. So we decided not to extend the contract because the contractor clearly exhibited low capacity and with shoddy works that was exhibited. So for purpose of record and clarity, this contract was not terminated. It was not renewed because after expiry of the contract. Maybe that's the first part that I want just to clarify. Coming to the other question, which I got very well in terms of the picture that has been put in place, and it shows that maybe most of the things were done, and then who did the actual erection of the project. This one I will request the Director of Engineering to make a clarification on the picture which is here and the works that were done. Which contractor did which parts? Thank you.
Yes, Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. The picture here that is indicated, the Auditor General, when they came to verify, they had found that we had already contracted IWEL Engineering to do the work. So by the time they went to verify, they found that he had already done the painting and some of the plumbing works. Although on the superstructure, it is actually Chambray who did most of the superstructure all the way up to the roof. Unfortunately, like my CS has indicated, the poor workmanship, the walls were not straight. So some of the walls we had to demolish and redo the walls by IWEL. So it is both IWEL and Chambray on the superstructure. Thank you, Chair.
The third question was, where did you get the additional funding from?
For the additional funding of 2,000, Data Finance will try to clarify that because our calculations showed that it was within.
Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. The amount that was carried forward according to the ledger that we have provided is 351,960.72. Chair, on the issue of the ledgers have been provided in this in our memorandum. However, that figure is coming from the Auditor General. We just didn't want to clarify what has been reported. However, the figure that we carried forward, as per our ledger, at the time the new contractor took office, is 351,960. It is the same figure that was carried forward the following year and even approved by the provincial law government officer.
Okay. Yes, you will come in. Yes, Dr. Manza, follow up.
Yeah, follow up from both responses. First is CS, you're saying this contractor, Chambray, his contract expired and the procurement committee sat and they did not approve extension of the contract because of poor workmanship. Then you engaged another contractor called IWEL. What do you call that situation where you are refuting that you did not terminate the contract of the first between yourselves, the employer, and the Chambray? What was the relationship between the employer and the contractor at the time that IWEL Zulu General Dealers occupied the same work that the Chambray Enterprise was doing? If you did not terminate the contract, what legal obligations did the Chambray have on the contract? Then to the engineer, this contractor, the first contractor, I'll take the figures presented by the auditor's office, that by 31st October 2025, the contractor had been paid amounts totaling 447,912, leaving a balance of 336,868. And the outstanding works included plumbing, glazing, electrical installation, water reticulation system, and tiling. So that's how they got a picture of this house, which is seen on page 2, which shows that the picture on page 2 were the works done as per that contractor Shambra. And even you look at the contract details of the other contractor, the contract started on June 5th. But you are saying that the superstructure, because my question I asked was like, which of the two contractors did the superstructure? The superstructure is basically the walls above the slab. So which of the two contractors? You said both contractors, if I got you right, correctly, because you said the first contractor, the walls were cracking, and then the second contractor. But when the auditors visited your VUBWI around 31st October, the first contractor had been paid already this amount, almost 60% of the contract price. What relationship had the IWEL with the employer, whilst Shambrel was doing the construction? You say that due to poor quality of the walls, then IWEL went there to correct the situation. What is the, can you clarify this 447, it went to Shambrel, paying for what?
Yes, yes.
Chair, I think for the purpose of learning, we will still explain, and then we will also seek a bit of guidance in terms of relationship. What we know in contract management is that when you enter into a contract with a contractor, there is a time frame for implementation of that project, which is the contract period. And the contract has got a start date and the end date. And the terms and conditions in terms of relationship with the contractor is based on what is enshrined in that document and the period of implementation. So basically what happened was that this contractor started the project and he ended the end date of the project, but the project was not what he completed.
Would you like to pass on to the director engineering so that we can get the explanation of the director engineering in terms of what Dr. Mwanza would like to get in terms of managing this project?
Yes, Chair. But before I just do that, just one word I wanted to use, because in our document, we have actually correctly we have described that was as contract non-renewal, because we didn't terminate this contract in the process of implementation. But we reached the end of the implementation.
We got that.
Yes, exactly.
We got that point.
Exactly.
Yes, Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable. The issue about Chambre is that during the implementation of the project, he was not cooperating. Every time you would write him instructions on redoing some works, he was not forthcoming. And even after the expiry of the contract, we wrote to him, inviting him back to site, telling him to tell us why he's not on site. We gave him letters, warnings. I'm sure they are attached on the appendices. He was not cooperating. He was not a cooperating contractor. It was until before we did the committee, the procurement committee, that he had written to the council requesting that we extend. But that was after we had written to him many letters asking him to do the works and also just to come back to site. He was just not a cooperating contractor, Chair.
Honorable Mwini.
Thank you very much, Chair. Through the CS, Direct Engineering, you employ somebody and they are not cooperative. You still allowed them to go ahead with the short works, as you have put it. You still allowed him to have walls that are bent, works that are not satisfactory. according to you now as an engineer or as a council, as an employer, what would you have done best? Because before roofing, if at all you were monitoring, I don't even know whether they were monitoring, because they can come up with such a story. Maybe they just went to see the structure after the roofing and so on. Were you monitoring? Where are your monitoring sheets for us to see, to confirm that we are truly monitoring? To just accuse the contractor that he was not cooperative. That's why he was coming up with short works. Were you monitoring? If you were monitoring, where is the evidence to that? And then, as a council, what should you have done to such a particular employee of yours that is just going ahead doing whatever they wanted? Even when you tell them don't do this, them they are doing. No, don't do that. They are doing what they want. You even went ahead and paid them to those levels. I submit, Chair.
Yes, CS?
Chair, we take note of the question, what should we have done? Like we explained earlier, there was a lot of interaction with this contractor on the ground. My engineers, there were some attachments which have been done for site instructions that were actually being issued on the ground to this particular contractor. Like we heard from the director, this contractor was what can you say? He was not cooperating, maybe just to use a civil terminology. He was not very cooperative, and because of the protracted engagement and the argument with him, when the contract came to an end, he applied for extension. We took a decisive step not to allow him to continue, because if we allowed him to continue, even today, Chair, we could be bringing to your committee a story of the project still being implemented. But because we took a step not to renew his contract, and then we wrote to him to inform him that the procurement committee has resolved not to extend your contract, and the same procurement committee resolved also to re-advertise the same, so that we can find someone serious to complete. And that's found someone who was serious enough, was found, and the project has been done. So we took a step. Perhaps we could have taken that step much earlier than maybe the way it was done. We can appreciate that.
Yes, Dr. Manza.
Anyone from
Honorable
procurement?
Dr. Manza.
Procurement, we want to understand from procurement. You are insisting you did not terminate the contract. You did not renew also his contract. So what technical term would we describe such a situation? Would the contractor still claim certain obligations, certain dues? Because you haven't terminated my contract, you have just kept quiet. The contract has expired. It has expired. Then you go ahead to advertise, to look for another contractor. Another contractor comes in to occupy my site. But the contract that you signed with this company, Chambre, on 5th June 2024, is not terminated. So probably as we are talking right now, even though the house is completed, in future, how do you? How he might claim something, because there's no termination clause. There's no termination. The contract is not terminated. So is this a standard procedure for a civil contract that you can just keep quiet and the works are ongoing like that? Then the same page 2, the other project at Nyankoma Primary Health Center, it's also a house. It was not complete because of the water system was not connected. You have said the action taken, you have upgraded the existing community borehole with installation of water scheme connected to the staff house that was handed over and now is occupied. What was the original scope in terms of water source? Was it the contractor to
drill his own borehole and construct a water scheme? If so, why didn't he drill the borehole? But now, probably he might have drilled a dry borehole, but now you're saying you upgraded an existing community, I believe it's a hand pump. So that hand pump, you did the pump tests and found that the yield was good enough to mechanize it. So what was the value of the change in the scope of work from drilling a new borehole and occupying an already existing borehole? There could have been, definitely there's some changes in the total contract price. Is it, did you make a saving and or did you go above the contract price? If you went above the contract price, where are the procedures to to seek extra funding? And that community that you destroyed their hand pump, you mechanize it. Where is the authority from the community to agree that you mechanize? Because remember, this staff house is at a clinic, and that hand pump was saving the community. It could have been in the village, definitely. So you mechanize the hand pump, the distribution pipeline goes to the overhead tank, and the water reticulation system is just at the rural health post. So the authority from the local community to mechanize the hand pump, and what did you drill them another borehole beside because you destroyed theirs? Thanks.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start by responding to the question, and then I'll ask my colleagues to add one or two where necessary. The first one, the doctor was to make a follow-up on the first contract, that the original contractor may still claim something because we did not terminate. We have just stayed like that. So, Chair, we didn't just stay like that. Perhaps maybe we could add a bit of credit on that. So, like I explained earlier on, that after the expiry of the contract and protracted engagement with this contractor, which were not yielding positive results, and based on his poor performance. So what happened was that we had to take this matter back to the procurement committee. After procurement
Yes, are you avoiding to use the word that you terminated the contract?
Okay, maybe let me just put it this way.
It's very simple. The doctor wants to know
Exactly.
if you terminated the first contract or not.
Okay, maybe in principle, like here I put it, like we said that the contract was terminated because the first contractor was informed in writing that you're no longer going to continue on this contract, and from today onwards, this project will be re-advertised. So we wrote to him.
Simple as
Yes.
that, Professor.
Yes. So on the second part, the scope of works, like the doctor has correctly described it, it included the drilling of a borehole. Now, like we said earlier on, the water table was quite low. Three attempted dry boreholes were encountered. Now, after encountering the dry boreholes, and we were spending, so we saw, and we were spending, and we were spending money. So the decision came through that with the 3 failed boreholes, what do? We risk running a clinic without water. So what we do, then some thoughts came through that there is existing borehole that we can try test and check through if it's able to perform. So there was meetings that were held with communities so that we can also upgrade their water system also by providing them with kiosks. From after upgrading the hand pump, the communities were also provided with kiosks. So there was that agreement with the communities to say it's their clinic and it's their borehole, and it can save both the community and the clinic. So upon the agreement, then the contractor was told to go to the sample borehole and upgraded the borehole and provided the communities with kiosks instead of that pump, and then put the lines of water from that borehole up to the clinic. That's how now we connected the clinic to the water recreation system. Thank you, Chair.
The question was, Was it at the same cost
In the
as,
cost
as
part,
the initial?
yeah, the cost part, I would like to invite my colleagues from engineering to give some specific detail to that.
Yes, Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the amount did not change. We did not change the amount. It is within the same 1.2 that we did all the works.
Honorable Mwene, then Honorable Dr. Manza. Okay, let's exhaust this one. Yes, Honorable Dr. Manza.
Well, just one follow-up. You're saying that there was no cost implications. First of all, I need to get clarity. In VUBWI, when a borehole contractor is contracted, do you pay for a dry borehole? Why did you say that you were the contractor? First of all, you said it clearly that the scope of work involving finding the water source, it was included in the contract price. It was 1.2, and within the 1,250,000. So that was a contractor's responsibility to do geophysical investigation and find the best source for water. He attempted 3 holes. And you say that the low water table, so they were all dry. And you are saying you are spending money. You are spending money on what? On what? You don't pay for a dry borehole. And the cost of drilling a borehole compared to mechanizing an existing hand pump where you are not doing flushing, where you are not increasing the depth, you're just going to supply a submersible pump. Surely, definitely, there's a difference. There's a difference, there's an implication on the financial. So it could have been, so I want to find out, do you pay for a dry borehole? Second is the change in the scope to have actually just mechanized an existing hand pump. The cost of a hand pump, a submersible pump, and probably an increased length of pipeline to because it depends on the location of the hand pump. There's definitely either some saving or some cost overrun. Thank you.
Maybe a third one is that in your explanation earlier, you stated that you got authority from the community, and with that authority, you had to rehabilitate that bore by removing the hand pump and putting a kiosk. We would like to see the evidence of the kiosk that you put for the people whose bore you are using to utilize the clinic. Yes.
So, thank you, Chair. Maybe the first question from the doctor is whether we pay for the dry bores. I think the position is that we don't pay for dry bores. Maybe when I said we have been spending, perhaps I can withdraw that statement. We are not spending as a council. But I know that when you do a dry borehole, there is some expenditures which goes over there. That's not our cost. That's another, it's a contractor's cost. Yeah, but we did not pay for the dry borehole. And we don't pay as a principal. That's within the rules of drilling and contract management. So in terms of the authority, currently, Engineer Felix, engineer, do you have any pictures that we can be able to show for the kiosks or for the community?
Yes, Chair, the pics will be able to share. Then just to follow up on what Dr. Manza asked in terms of flushing, because this bore was a hand pump, and we know the minimum yield for a hand pump is 0.2, and the minimum we needed was 1 liter per second. So the contractor had to do the flushing before pump testing as per normal contract. So the only thing which was not affected on the drilling was the casing and installation. The other parts of the contract in terms of drilling remained unchanged, and they had to be paid for, because the surveys, as per contract management, when the contractor does the survey, he submits a report which was submitted to the council. Then I think the only thing which is not affected is the drilling part and casing. Those have to be removed. But on the flushing and pump testing, because we are upgrading the existing one from hand pump, which requires 0.2, to a skim, which requires 1 liter per second. So those procedures were done. Thank you.
In terms of the costs, the Honorable Dr. Mwanza asked that the cost for drilling a new one and just rehabilitating an existing one are different. So are you telling your committee that you actually made savings from the costs of drilling? CS, you may either answer or ask the engineer.
Okay, water engineer, you can maybe exhaust that part.
So, Chair, in terms of drilling, because where this bore is, like the CS said, in the first place we drilled 3 dry bore, and proper surveys were done, and the contractor maximum depth was 100 meters. So one of the surveys showed that we had to go beyond, but going beyond meaning the council would have made losses. So we had to agree with the contractor, because where the bore is, it's about 1 kilometer. So there was also extension on the pipe networking, according to compared to what was agreed with the contractor. Then again, where the bore is, it's downstream. So the contractor also had to do some protection works in terms of grouting and also protection works on the borehole. So the savings, yes, were there, but also there was mutual agreement with the contractor on the other works, because that meant he needed to do other works, such as protection bore works and the like, which were not in his contract. Thank you.
Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
The time that we decided to do the upgrading of the existing hand pump to a mechanized one was the tank already erected. The tank stand and the tank itself, was it already erected by within the vicinity of the clinic? Was it already erected? Then, from looking at your completion certificate, there is no smoke without fire. How do you explain this 1,308,017 kwacha, 0.89, so accurate? Why did you replace it with the 1,250,000 kwacha? This contract value, the contract value of 1,308,017.89, and then just in your preamble, you say the contract value is supposed to be 1,250,000. How could someone, such a very, very, very important document, because a completion certificate shows it can be used for future projects.
You moved an addendum at the beginning of the meeting, where you amended 1.3 million kwacha to read as 1.2. I was even almost asking you if you have the original IPC for this documentation. That is where the question is coming from. The contract action, yeah. So you can respond to those two, CS.
I think the other question which came from the doctor is about whether the tank and the tank stand were erected.
That is the first one.
Before, I think engineer, you can proceed to clarify that part in terms of the tank stand and the tank itself before the upgrading of the bore was done.
Yes, engineer.
Thank you, Chair. The tanks, the time the contractors drilling were not elected. The tanks were only elected after the decision was made to upgrade. So like I said, the bore is about 1 kilometer away from the clinic. So we had to put it in between the clinic and the community so that both parties can benefit. Thank you.
Where are the photos before you go? You said you can give us the photos to see. So the tank is in between the community and the clinic, not at the clinic. And have you done any kiosks for the community? So you have those photos. The second part of the question, CS?
The second part of the question, Chair, if I got it correctly, it has to do with the amount, the figure.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I would like to ask Director of Finance to maybe say something to do the figures.
Director of Finance?
Thank you very much, Chair. On page 42 of the appendices.
42.
On page 42 of the appendices, number 15 of the approved 2024 CDF projects, the amount there is clearly stated that is 1,250,000, the one that was allocated, Chair. The same amount, I think we have carried it with the ledger on page 34. Where we are showing the balance of 132,286.87. The amount which is outstanding to the contractor yet to be paid, this amount is still outstanding, and it agrees with what the auditors have reported, Chair.
Yes, we do agree with the auditor and what you are submitting. But in the contract, you signed 1.3. And there's a signature of the council and the contractor. Yet you want to amend this casually. And this is why we are asking, where are we getting this figure from? The total could have been with the authority 1.2, but in the contract you signed, what is the exact figure, Dr. Manza? 1.3?
You're not showing the contract because
Yeah, but on page,
I don't know, do you have a contract?
was that 78 where you wanted to amend? On page 79? Are we together on page 79?
On page 79.
Yes. Is this the same contract we're talking about, CS?
Yes, so page 79, you understand the importance of this certificate of completion. It is issued through a rigorous process. The Works Department checks also the Finance Department, the final contract value, or rather the final settlement account for the project. That is the amount of money that you put on this certificate of completion. Because a contractor will trade with this in some projects where he bid for a project. They might want a contractor who has achieved a job, a project that is worth more than 1 million kwacha, 1.3 million kwacha or 1.2 million kwacha. And this contractor, he presents this certificate of completion that he has done a job before of 1.3 million kwacha. How did you guess this number, which with three parties signed? And when did you realize that the contract value was not 1.3 million kwacha? It was 1.2 million kwacha.
Yes. Maybe for the sake of our listeners and viewers, could you read the contract value in the certificate of completion?
Chair, the contract value.
As per this certificate.
Yes, the contract value which is captured in the certificate of completion is 1,308,017.89.
And who signed this document?
I would say the council signed.
The council
because the officers were acting on behalf of the council.
Yes, so you signed this contract with 1,308,017 kwacha 89 ingwe. You have moved an addendum to amend this figure to 1.250,000 kwacha. Which one is the correct contract value? The one you're amending here, or the one at, because even the one in the minutes is 1.2 million kwacha flat, and UCS has moved an amendment of 1.250 thousand kwacha. So which one now? You have given us three figures. Director of Finance, in the minutes, the total approval is 1,200,000 kwacha. The CS has moved an amendment of 1,250,000 kwacha. The contract as per certificate of completion is 1,308,000 kwacha. Which one are we going to go with? Yes, yes.
Chair, I'm just being guided by the Director Engineering. First of all, I want just to speak to the consistency in terms of 1,250,000.
Yes.
I think this is most of all the documentation we have actually put it 1,250,000. But now the Director Engineering is just trying to bring something to me.
Director of Finance had taken us to, is it page 34? No, before 34, Director of Finance, you took us to where there was approval.
Page 42.
44.
42.
42. Director of Finance, you had taken us to some minutes which gave a total approval that the meeting was informed, yes, to implement a total cost of 1.2 per constituency. Okay, maybe I read.
Yes, Chair, on 15, number 15, project number 15 of the 2024 community projects.
40, okay, no, I'd gone to 40, which gave me 1.2. Then I retract the 1.2. Yeah, so kindly reconcile the contract value in the completion certificate and the 1,250. If the contractor came today, this is a completion certificate, and signed a contract of 1,308,000 kwacha, and he claims to say this is the contract I signed, will you pay him the money or not? Yes.
Okay, Chair, thank you very much. I think with the guidance that you have really emphasized, we have really realized that here, perhaps we need to recheck this part. Like you have correctly said, perhaps we need to draw out a contract document and the other documents and draw out this part so that we can be able to revisit this part correctly. We take note of your guidance and your emphasis that you placed here. At the moment, Chair, we can be able to say we have taken the council and we'll get back to this item.
You've done a shortcut. My question was, will you pay the contractor the money or not?
Chair, I will pay the contractor the money which is contracted for the works done, because the contractor will be paid based on the IPCs. And then when the engineers will certify the works done based on the IPCs and the contracts that person signed for, that's how we're going to pay the contractor.
I agree with you, but here you have signed 1.3.
Chair, I've humbly requested that you allow us to.
Where is the contract? Is it attached, the contract? Where is the contract for
procurement
for this project?
Do you have a contract?
Yeah.
Procurement, do you have a contract?
I think it should be back at the office.
Are you the only one in the office procurement?
Currently we are two, but my other colleague who is acting is out of the office, not feeling too well.
I note you have a legal officer senior legal officer in your delegation. What is your comment on these two figures that we're discussing?
On that one, yes, Chair. On that one, I'll refer to ECS.
No. Sir, there's a reason why you are here. You came here to answer and help us clarify matters. Very simple question. What is your comment between the two figures we're discussing?
They're not tarrying. They're not tarrying the two figures. So the advice here is I need first to go through the contract.
You need to do what?
To go through the contract.
So, CS, this amendment, the committee will not take it. You give us the original contract for this project as part of your submission. Only when that is done, that is when we'll consider that this report is adopted, if we adopt it at the end of our meeting. We can make progress to other areas. Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you very much, Chair. CS, Chair, may I guide the CS to page 7?
Page 7?
Yes. On total unspent loans of about 498,148 kwacha. Chair, the council is saying this was because of failure by 2 loan applicants to pass the eligibility criteria. Maybe my first question is, what is it that they failed to provide that you couldn't give them this money? 1. 2, did you make any engagements with them? Or you just awarded and then forgot about them, that they will provide the documentations? If you made any engagements, any evidence to that? And then, Chair, yes, I think those are the first 2 questions I have for them.
Yes, yes, you may respond.
Chair, I appreciate the question for the Honorable in terms of the unspent money on the loans. Like we stated, the approvals were done correctly by the CDFC, and after the CDFC did that, we did the conveyance to the bank as per procedure. So the bank does the screening process based on the criteria which they use, maybe on bank details, whether someone has got another loan or somebody has got all the details.
Those are the details we need, CS. Yes. If you don't have them, kindly ask planning to help you.
There is an attachment, Chair.
Okay.
Data planning will be able to guide us further
Director planning
on that one.
Kindly help the CS.
Thank you, Chair. So on this one, I'll take it to some appendix 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the 2, they failed to meet the criteria. The bank had indicated that the applicants were not conversant with their business proposals. That is the reasons that were forwarded to the institution. Thank you.
What business did they want to undertake? Director Planning, are you new at VUBWI Town Council? CS, you may switch off your mic.
No, Chair.
So why are
Their business proposals were agro dealing.
Agro dealing. Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you very much. Any correspondence from the bank stating that these people are really not conversant with these businesses that they want to venture in? Both of them was agro dealing, and if yes, any correspondence from the bank, or have you come with their files to see what was taking place? Because there are write-ups in their files, definitely. Yes. So, any evidence to what you are trying to tell your committee? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, CS.
Chair, I would like to call upon the chief planner because he's the one who is directly handling those companies to make some clarifications.
Yes, that's why he's here. Chief planner.
Thank you very much, Chair. As the Director of Planning has guided the committee, the budgets that were presented were above the 250 threshold. We know that the empowerment loan goes up to 200. So as such, the bank advised that reconciliations are made by the involved parties so that the budgets are realistic. At the moment, the correspondence have not been carried with us, but we can always make them available there at the office. Thank you.
Honorable Mwene.
Thank you very much. If the applications were beyond 250,000, why did you approve them as CDFC committee?
Yes, Chief Planner.
Thank you. They applied for 200, but when the bank reviewed the contents to detail what was coming was that the costs were way overboard. Thank you. But it was 200. That was the application figure.
Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you very much. Why didn't you advise them to adjust? So that when they adjust, if they are willing to adjust that is, then you give them the loans. Did you advise them to adjust? If you did they refuse that you could just give out the money to other applicants? Submission.
Thank you, Chair. Advice was given, feedback was given so that corrective measures are done. Therefore, them being considered for the second time as well as other applicants, advice was given as you have asked. Thank you.
You said these wanted to do agro dealing. Agro dealing is diverse. There are chemicals, there are seeds, there's fertilizer. What exactly did they want to undertake so that we understand? Because, for example, if I want to buy fertilizer and I make a loan of 200,000, there's no way the bank would tell me that the cost of buying fertilizer is actually more than 200,000 because there's a specific number of bags of fertilizer that I would buy out of 200,000. So what is it that they wanted to buy exactly that was exceeding the total amount of the loan that they had applied, which you and the CDF committee approved?
Thank you, Chair. The project proposals included purchase of buying and selling of seeds, soybeans, maize, sacks, as well as weighing scales, and they also wanted to include drilling of boreholes so that they grow their own seeds in some cases, such as maize and soybeans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Planner. Is the Chief Planner? You know, is it the Chief Planner?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, we gave you immunity at the beginning of the meeting, and we told you do not mislead this committee. Do you have the project proposal for the two applicants? Yeah, because to grow your own maize seed, it's another process which has to be approved by the seed companies. That's why I laughed. Drilling of a bore to grow your own maize seed for sale is different from what you were stating. Could you tell us what is the correct position? We are asking so that we understand. This money is supposed to help, you know, Zambians, those who have small businesses. It's supposed to help them to expand, thereby expanding the economic activities of VUBWI. So we've asked follow-up questions so that we understand this matter, so that we know that there's nothing sinister in not having these people given the loans that they had applied. So what is the correct position? Are you telling the committee that these people wanted to buy seed and as well as drill on boreholes to start selling seed? Is that the correct position? Chief Planner.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, that is what the beneficiaries wanted. They wanted to be growing their own crops. That is buying and selling, including them having land to get into production business. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Chair, I don't know whether I answered this question or I didn't ask it. What prompted you as CDF committee to approve loan applicants that you saw that this couldn't suffice? What prompted you to, only to be told by the bank that no, this is, I think, not possible? You saw that it was possible. Then the bank says this was not possible. What prompted you? And they eventually came up with the differences in the lines of thought. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Chief Planner.
Thank you, Chair. We looked at the past experience where beneficiaries can or could do agro-business, even just with the 100 or 50,000. So we saw it reasonable that with the money that they had, necessarily they could not drill boreholes, but they could start the buying and selling, looking at what has been happening in the past, where that money was efficient to get them started. Necessarily not going for the boreholes, but just them going to the market, buying maize and soya as adequate startup capital. Thank you.
So why didn't you fund the buying and selling part? Eastern Province is predominantly a farming area, and one cannot just come up to say, I want to do this, yet they can't. Why didn't you fund the other part, which you yourself is alluding to, say you've seen people with a 50,000 kwacha do this business?
Thank you, Chair. After engaging the involved beneficiaries, corrections were made, and a total of 100,000 was given or awarded to the mentioned beneficiaries who have since started their businesses. Thank you.
You gave them when? In which CDF cycle?
Thank you. That was phase 2 of the 2024 CDF cycle within the same year.
Yes, but is it what your report is saying? Read your action taken, CS.
This is appendix 2.4 on loans. Action taken. The action taken, Chair, is one. The two new applicants were selected, approved by CDFC, recommended by the bank, and then approved by PA, provincial government officer.
How would you reconcile the statement from the chief planner that you paid the odd original applicant?
Chair, maybe there could just be a mix-up, but the two that were that were reported are captured under which appendix? This one. for approval by the POJO. There is an appendix, Chair, just where these two new applicants were actually.
Yes, no, we are not
Yes.
questioning the approval.
Yes.
We understand that those affected, as cited under the non-expenditure, you excluded them and brought two new applicants, and you have since given this money to two new applicants. The chief planner is saying negotiations still went ahead, and those two, the original ones, were paid 100,000 each. So I'm asking, how do we reconcile the two?
Chair, I would suggest that to the committee that we pick what we have actually captured, what we've reported, and where we can be able to show proof that the two new applicants were actually considered, approved, and then dispensed.
What happens to the information given by the chief planner?
Is corrected so that he is able to do the right thing.
And what is the right thing, CS?
Chair, the right thing is to follow what has been approved.
So
And what was submitted,
you are
approved.
withdrawing what the chief planner has submitted.
Exactly, Chair.
But you said this is the person on the ground.
No, Chair, you're the one manning the component. I asked for him to speak because I've got confidence in him, and he's the one who is manning the component. So now, from what you're submitted,
where is the confidence going now?
No, Chair, after this, I'll review the confidence.
VUBWI Town Council, I would have loved to go on with yourselves. I can see the doctor has got more questions, but I think with the experience, with the deliberations with other committees, the issues remain the same. And so as we interact, we are able to tell where the problems are. And so for VUBWI, of course, you have your own governance and financial challenges. Contract management remain an issue. The loans management, I think I'll start from there. Chief planner and the whole team. The government has introduced the loans component to give cheap capital to Zambian small and medium enterprise. This is to grow their business, number one, and number two, when they grow, then they employ more people. Once more people are employed, it then means that this loan is creating employment within the district. And so we encourage councils to sensitize the communities. What we're getting from the chief planner, the director planning, we're trying to establish what could have been the problem. As you go away, we don't know what the problem is, and we don't want to speculate. But the advice of the committee is, as long as one is a Zambian and you've assessed that they are able to do work, in Eastern Province, the economic activity for Eastern Province is farming. Our colleagues, some of them may not have gone to school as yourselves. And this is where you come in to help them do a bankable business proposal. Because these are farmers by experience, by birth. By the time they are becoming 18 and above, in Eastern Province and other parts of the country, you'll find that these people who actually have more experience than some people who have good degrees. And so this is where you come in, director planning. Help them to do a bankable project so that they expand their business. Unlike where you say that, no, we brought new people because we thought they needed more money. And yet you're saying you've seen people with 50,000 kwacha grow their own business. So we want to encourage the council to sensitize the people. Where possible, help them to write a bankable project so that they benefit from this cheap capital. After all, they have been doing these things. Adiodio. The project delays there. I think you got the consent from Dr. Mwanza, contract management, legal. I was asking you, what is your comment? And Dr. Mwanza was asking, what is the relationship between the former contractor and the council? So you terminate, if a contractor is not performing a satisfaction of the contract, you first, of course, you write the instructions. Can you rectify this? We heard at the beginning of the meeting that you had to break some laws. We were going to ask you, did they refund at termination? Because when you engage the new contractor, you had to break some laws to redo the works that they had already done. And so we would have wanted to see the evidence, whether you had paid for those works or not. Okay, but as a committee, we observed that there is actually a problem in monitoring and valuation, because there is no way you would let a contractor go to the level of building bent, superstructure, and then you just ask the next contractor to terminate. You should have asked the original contractor to actually break and do the correct thing. So CS, ensure that we improve in the area of monitoring and evaluation, because it delays the enjoyment. When projects delay, it delays the enjoyment of the project by the ordinary people, who are the ones that tell us to say, at Adiodio, we want a staff house, we want a 1x3 classroom block. The other concern was on the desks. CS, I was going to ask you on behalf of the committee, because you're saying 5 desks worth 155,000 kwacha. But this one, I think we'll ask you before we end. We need to correct it, because you see, after we are done with this report, it goes to the House, the committee of the whole House, and once it's adopted, it becomes a public document. And so for us to leave that hanging, I think we will not have done a good job. So on the desk, I think it's the last one. You're saying 5 desks, and you made a correction with 155,000 kwacha. And I did the calculation, meaning that one desk is costing, is it 37,000 kwacha? Is this the true position, CS? On page 12, on cause of query, last sentence. DF, if you have the answer. Yes, please, yes.
Oh, Chair, thank you very much. Maybe since you're already, you're almost calling upon the DF.
Yes, please.
I'm sure you can start.
Yes, DF.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will draw the attention to page 42 of the projects approved. Number 2, procurement of 1,532 desks worth 2,604,400. Chair, it's just the text in which this was explained. The 1,555,000 is not actually the cost of desks, no. However, it is the balance between what was approved.
Just wait again. Read it correctly, because you are going to mislead us. It's not 1 million. Read the correct figure.
Yes. I said 2,604,400.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. So what I'm saying is the 2,604,000 was the actual cost of the desk as approved by the POGO. However, when it came to awarding of contracts, the desks were awarded at 1,527,000 desks were awarded at 2,448,900. This created, yes?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, this created a balance in the required desk as per approved of 5. However, there was an amount of 1,555,500. Now, Chair, you will notice that at the beginning, the first query talks about a 6 million that was not received. So this amount of money was not received by us. Therefore, we could not procure right there in the year.
Go to page 12, Director Finance. I don't think we are together.
Yes, I'm there.
You're at page 12.
Yes.
Read the cause of query to the end.
Yes, Chair. According to what has been explained here is, the Council is in agreement with the finding of the auditors that a total of 1,532 desks were targeted for, and 1,527 desks were procured and distributed, representing a performance of 99.7, and a total of 2,604 was allocated, with 2,448,900 spent, representing a utilization of 94%, Chair. Chair, actually, when you look at it...
Read, the query is arising from the last part that you want to leave out.
Okay.
Leaving
a balance of 5 desks
with
1,500,000.
No, it's not 1 million.
155,500. Yes, Chair, I was trying to explain. I think on this one, I think it's the text in which it was explained.
And that is what we want corrected in this
Yes.
report. Leaving a balance of 5 desks with 155,500 kwacha. Yes, what is the correct context so that even our secretariat captures it well?
Yes, Chair. The correct context here is that the desks were not with the 5 desks were not with 155,500. However, when you look at the cost of 2,448,900 divided by what was supplied of 1,527, the total cost was coming to about 1.6 on average, meaning that it could not cost, what was already procured was on average 1,603. Therefore, it is just the text that was a mistake here, and therefore...
Let's correct it. Your Director of Finance, go to the table. Undelivered desks is 5. And the cost of undelivered desks is how much?
On average, it's 8.
No, not average. Read what you have put there. Is it you that prepared this document?
I was part of the team that prepared the document, sir.
Yes,
Chair.
yes. And that's where we are getting this information from here. Hence, we are saying, can we correct this before we finish? Yes. Just switch off your microphone. Honorable Mwene, you've been eager to ask a question.
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to guide DF. I don't know why DF is misleading or misleading himself or trying to mislead the committee. DF, look, you go on the table there. You're an accountant by profession. I'm an economist, but we can reach somewhere. You look at the delivered desks. It's 1,527, isn't it? The cost of delivering of the 1,527 is 2,448,900 kwacha, of which, if you get that one, you divide it by, you get 2,448,000 divided by 1,528. You actually find that one desk was costing almost 1,603 3 kwacha 70 ngwe, not so. DF, using that simple arithmetic, it therefore gives us almost a 97.7% of the total cost. DF, you're an accountant. Yes. From there, you get the 5. Divide the 155,500 kwacha. Divide it by the 5 remaining desks. It gives you how much per desk?
It comes to
8,000.
8,000.
If you divide, no, it's not 8,000. It's 31,500. DF, please. 155,500 kwacha, which is the cost of unspent desks.
Let me guide the meeting.
Just a minute, Chair. Sorry.
Yes.
So when you divide it by 5, the 155,500.
I want us to use the actual average cost to correct this report. CS, so when you get 2.6 million, 4,400 and divide by 1,532, the average cost is 1.7. So for the sake of consistency, you multiply 5 times 1.7 and then we amend, then we make progress. That is what I wanted to the Director of Finance to do, but he's taking us also somewhere else. Yes, Director, now it's you to move those amendments.
Yes, Chair. The cost we are going to replace 155,500 with 8,500.
Your report is not so bad, VUBWI. Except I understand, CS, you're a professor, so you like explaining a lot of things. And when you explain a lot of things, the committee will also give you a lot of questions. I think that is what has kept us here for this long. So go and work on the mistakes I think that we've identified. We want to thank you for your appearance. And when I end a meeting like this, Secretariat is always looking at me. But I think we have spoken a lot. You have picked the areas which need action. We have confidence in you, CS, that you are equal to the task and that you supervise this team. I like your delegation. Yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be, at least for exposure, so that everyone is able to know that when they are at the station, government means business, especially when it comes to matters of CDF, council operations. We want you to work on behalf of the government and the people of Zambia. So next time, those who didn't say something, be comforted that we actually got you say something when we're doing introductions. So even as you go, at least all of you said something. The immunity is hereby revoked. Go well. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Parliament Television. That was VUBWI Town Council that was being led by the Council Secretary. They've just made their submissions to the Committee on Local Government Accounts on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, for the financial year ended 31st December 2024. And this was the second witness to make an appearance before the committee. Earlier in the morning, the Committee on Local Government Accounts did receive submissions from Petaoke Town Council that was led by the Council Secretary, Mr. Kelvin Banda. So just now we stand by for the third witness to make their submissions to the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.
My eParliament mobile application. My eParliament is a mobile application developed by the National Assembly of Zambia in order to bring Parliament closer to you. You can download and install My eParliament from App Store or Play Store. Once installed, you can raise your concerns, provide your input, opinion and feedback on various projects or decisions being made in your constituency. On My eParliament mobile application, you can listen to Parliament Radio. You will have access to parliamentary documents such as bills and acts which are considered in Parliament. You will also have access to National Assembly social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.